Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Happy Friday. Before we get into these wild markets, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders lose money. If you trade, you're probably going to lose all your money. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say or do is financial advice or a suggestion or recommendation to do anything of any kind. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. This is all for entertainment purposes only. I'm just an idiot here on YouTube yapping about trading. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures, Code RDF, Bookmap, and a whole bunch of others. What's going on, chat? Good morning. Good morning. We got good energy here. I like this. So we're going to do some markup together here, guys. I do not have this chart marked up. I have another chart marked up, but not this chart that I'm trading off of, which is the ES here on Project X with Top 1 Futures. We got 350K straight to fundeds loaded up, but you can watch how I go day over day and mark this chart up. Good morning. Good morning. What's up? Jordan, Raj, Iron, Marcus, Dior, Nathan, Dior again, Ryan. What's going on? Jashira, you guys and all your crazy names. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back. We'll get this show rolling. Markets opened up. It's 9:33. We're starting to push to the upside after selling off. Are we going to break out? We'll have to decide that. We'll have to decide that for ourselves. But let's get this chart marked up. I'm going to go and set overnight high right here. This was my prior day high. I'm going to throw that off of the daily candle here. Very simple chart markup. All of this is objective levels outside of just the discretionary stuff. That's going to be overnight low. And this is going to be prior day low. Let's drop down to the 15-minute. Look at yesterday's volume profile. We can get rid of the magnet tool. I'm going to go somewhat fast on this. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. I will come back to it. But this is the exact way that I mark up my chart. Very, very simple stuff. It takes me about, as long as you watch me do it here, I don't know, a couple minutes. Not even. So we have prior day's volume profile, regular trading session hours, volume profile. Let's go ahead and get these close, and then we'll zoom in, and I'll make them in the exact spot from the 15-minute. That's going to be the value area high. That's going to be prior day volume point of control, and this is going to be value area low. So let's go ahead and zoom in. These are labeled over here on the right-hand side because as I zoom in, it does get a little bit convoluted. So let's go ahead and get that pretty close to perfect right there. That's going to be our value area low. If I zoom in, we can get a little bit more of a granular view. That's going to be prior day volume point of control, and this is going to be value area high from prior day, regular trading session hours. That's the volume profile. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this zone that was tested multiple times as support and resistance. I had this on before all of this nonsense, but since we have overnight high and prior day volume point of control, I don't need that right here. Let's jump back out to the daily and take a look and see if we want to mark out anything. Yeah, it's going to be solid. I know what I'm looking at below price. I know what I'm looking at above. We start to break above that. We got another zone out here. But just taking a look at the daily, what we had going on. Talked about this in Discord, right? And right off the rip, we'll talk markets. Wild headline markets, right? Price is reacting harshly and with a lot of volatility to every little headline and comment, right? This morning we had Trump said something about tariffs, 80%, whatever China comment he made, and market wicked back and forth really rapidly, right? We are dealing with that. There's no way to avoid it, in my opinion, outside of just not trading. Structure your risk, accept your risk on the front end. That's what you can do. Looking at this structurally, we look primed for a breakout. Right? We look primed for a breakout. I think everybody and their mother is watching this to potentially break through these 750s and make a run for the hills all the way up towards the 800s or higher. Does that happen today? I don't know. Oftentimes when the market is doing something that seems like it's setting up so obvious and everybody's watching the same thing and you see all the talking heads say the same thing, usually that's not what happens. I don't know that that's a great way to trade, but I do think about that. I think that the obvious move would be looking bullish on this to push to the upside. We've chopped around a lot up here. There's been a lot of consolidation, a lot of hesitation. We got past a whole bunch of, red folder news events. We got past Trump speaking yesterday. But I did think it was interesting that we pushed the highs and then really came all the way back down in. Overnight up until this pre-market move where we're starting to break above VWAP here, we've really just been chopping. It was a nice indecision candle coming into like the 8 a.m. time frame. So I'm not so sure. I don't know that we break out to the upside, but does this look bearish to me? No, right? Consecutive, nice bullish price action, consecutive bullish bars, a lot of chop up here, a lot of consolidation, a lot of hesitation back and forth, and especially for NYSE session, we've seen a lot of this back and forth movement. And on the 1 minute, do I take this into consideration? Not that much. I mean, I'm trading the 1 minute in a very, scalpy type of way, 5-10 points at a clip. But I think it's important to recognize, like, depending on where we are on these higher time frames, how much opportunity is there that would make sense for the day based on this higher time frame structure. I think there's a lot to the upside. There's also a lot to the downside. Someone commented that in Discord. Of course, there's always a lot to the upside and downside. If we start to break ththese highs, right, outside of yesterday's candle, we would be making a real strong case to run the upside, right, and go into price discovery, maybe go check out, the 800s. But before that, chop, consolidation, rangy type of action. One other note, just kind of general, feel for the way that these U.S. indices moves. Oftentimes on Friday, we get this, like really slow grind movement. If we are going to start to actually move, we often get this kind of, maybe impulsive move, maybe not, but a real slow grinding trend, where you don't get this real nice movement to the upside with breaks and retests. We just start to kind of drift and then continue. So I'm cautious of that as well. Looking at bookmap, which is going to be my favorite order flow tool, we got liquidity up to the 720s. Above that, we got big stacks of orders on the book way up at the 775s. That's been there for a long period of time. At the 750s, we have liquidity. I'll show you what I'm talking about on bookmap. I'm watching this because I actually like it for a short back to VWAP first, but here's what I'm looking at. Big stack of orders. This is 75 points away from price right now. Maybe 68 or something like that. But before that, we've got some liquidity to the upside, cracking above this overnight high right into the 720s. Could see a quick move to the upside before retracement. I could also see a sell-off, right? If we actually are going to run the highs, I could see a gnarly push lower first, take everybody out that got long, below the 700s here, and then maybe turn. So I think like everything's on the table today. I know that's like I described everything under the sun going up or down. Primarily, easy read, looks very bullish. Looks like we're ready to break out and push to the upside. Do we do that today? I'm not so convinced. I mean, I thought we might do it yesterday. Looked like that was going to be the run for the hills, and we came all the way back down on it. Lot of Fed speakers today as well. I'll also comment on that. No red folder news, no high impact, but a ton of Fed speakers talking today, yapping all day. They're not the important guys, but any of them can start to have a speech or say something or answer a question that really starts to throw the market. So we could be in for a lot of that crazy looking wicky movement that we saw during pre-market. Crazy price action. So in any event, initially watching this on the 1 minute, framing out a trade idea. I could see a test up. Near the 715s overnight highs, which I don't know that we get, for an aggressive short back to VWAP. I just don't anticipate that we run the highs without forming any type of pullback during NYSE session towards VWAP. This might be it right here, right now. Actually looks like it is. But I don't know that I want to take it from down here, just looking for a push lower. I'd look for a clean out, fake out to the upside, like we're going to break and run. Liquidity right here, but not much until we get way higher. Pull back down to VWAP. Maybe we continue to the downside, but at least a pullback down to take everybody out. That classic NY open type of move. Fake out in one direction, pull back, and then maybe continuation in that direction, maybe reversal. But that's kind of what I'm looking at for the initial move. Again, not really wanting to fade the longs here, but we're opening up high above VWAP, up near the top end of this crazy candle that we had print on that tariff comment from Trump. I could see this back to VWAP first, but I'm not going to jump in from down here. Nothing crazy screaming at me for a beautiful setup. Just kind of consolidating, pushing higher. So don't want to jump right in front of it. But an impulsive move to the upside around that 715. I'm looking short. Stop loss above, this point of control up at the 25s. Looking for an aggressive, bounce back. That would be trade number one. Conversely, we start to sell off. I don't have a trade to the downside, right? I'm waiting for something up here. I'd be looking for us to find buyers. I'd be looking long, back up to VWAP, but for the continuation. So I'd want to see us down, around this prior day value area low, down around the 85s. I think that could be a pretty good spot to look for it. This could be a problem down here. This could be a problem down here. It could be tough to start trying longs really aggressively. So I'd want to utilize bookmap as well. But initially, I'd be looking at this value area low level, right? Key area. We could see how that came into play through pre-market, all the way through pre-market. Pretty obvious level on the chart where I would get that from. Looking at volume profile as well. Zoomed out on the 1 minute. That would be my thought process for looking long. But so essentially, rough trade ideas. Real simple. That's the rough trade ideas, guys. Very rough trade ideas. Going to look at bookmap as we start to either sell off or push to the upside for some added confirmation. But that's my game plan. Nothing right off the bat, right? I don't like to jump right in the first couple minutes of the open. It does tend to be volatile. We get a lot of back and forth movement. I find I just don't have a fantastic hit rate in the first 5 to 10 minutes of NYSE Open. I don't think many people do, but they're out there. Nice. So let's see what we got here. Check it, bookmap again. Second screen. Well, what's going on, guys? Appreciate you hopping on. We got a bunch of people on. Welcome to the show. Smash like, smash subscribe. Help me out. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. Free means free, and I'm here almost every damn day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm on a roll. I've been outside of Thursday and Friday last week. It's been every single day the market's been open, and Thursday and Friday last week I was still trading live. I was just doing it in person in Tampa. Happy to have you guys here, man. It's awesome to build up this community. More and more people almost every day on these lives. It's sick to say that. Everyone is bigger than the next. It's awesome. So here we go. Sell it off back towards VWAP pretty aggressively. We got some liquidity at 95s right down there at VWAP. Looks like we want to come into that. Down below, we got the 85s. Down below, we got the 85s. And then there is some down to 80 and 75 and 70. It doesn't die right at 85. But I'm gonna probably try it down there. That would be first trade. Long from the 85s if we reach that, right? I'm not gonna go long right off of VWAP. I'd go long off the 85s, not really getting a stop even below this wick. I don't think that that's an important level of structure. It's just not a high volume area. It's not something that I would have had marked off. That's what I would be what I'd be looking for. Yeah, liquidity at the 95. So again, we're watching this, guys. I'm kind of framing a trade idea here with you. And then we'll talk to the chat as we watch this open up. This is what I'll be looking at. Liquidity down to 685. If you don't know what this is bookmap, my favorite order flow tool. This is level 2 data displaying liquidity, right? This is your depth of market. This just does it in a nice, cool looking way. So I'll be looking at these buy orders sitting below price to potentially step in as some support down at the 85s. Why else do I like that level? Very clear. Just went over it. Value area low from yesterday, right? Low end of that volume profile. You could see it acted as a key level, a support, flipped resistance multiple times in pre-market. So if we sell off below VWAP, I think we potentially can find some buyers there, but we don't have to. We got close to VWAP there. If buyers are strong today, we may not pull back down to this. We may start to push off from here. I won't like the short as much if we come back up on this after pulling back down. Why? Well, we're cleaning out longs and then moving higher, right? We're going to form some really nice bullish structure. Do I want to step in front of that as we start to break highs? Not as much as I would step in front of it right here if we just peaked up a little bit higher and then started to reject. So that's my thought process. Just framing out some trades with you guys. Again, 1 minute chart, they happen a lot faster. I manage them a lot faster. I try to kind of talk about them as they're setting up, right? If then statements, we're not reacting crazy, knee jerk, anything. We're not trying to predict what the market's going to do. We're waiting for price to set up as it continues to print more data. We continue to make more if-then statements, waiting for our setup, our edge to present itself, if we want to go as far as to say that. But right back down towards VWAP for right now. What's going on, guys? Couldn't sleep. Good morning. Good morning. Do you trade? I don't know. Don't know what those are. VE. Sup, Z? What's going on, guys? Good morning. All the talking heads today. Yeah, man. Just to talk about that because I didn't show it. Boom. This is forexfactory.com. A lot of people yapping. These are all FOMC members. This is a financial news site. It's a Forex one, but it's what I use for financial news. It's all U.S. news. A lot of yappers today. A lot of people talking. That could be a problem. So, again, what do you do about that if you're going to trade through it? Be cautious because this could happen at any point. Structure your risk. Throw a stop loss in. Accept the potential for slippage on a really volatile movement. That's pretty much it. What's up? Thanks for live. Can you clarify your trading strategy so I can follow? Here's the basic way that I would describe it, right? But you're going to watch it play out here right now. And I trade live here on YouTube free almost every day that the market's open, and I have for many, many days. I have hundreds of hours now of live sessions on YouTube. You can go back and watch, recent or past ones, whatever you want to watch. So I think that's an easy way to do it. This is discretionary, price action, market structure, volume, and order flow. Very simple. Discretionary meaning the exact spot that I'm going to enter, the exact place that I'm going to place the buy or sell is based on a decent amount of my subjective interpretation of price action, market structure, volume, and order flow. I'm using my discretion, my experience in the market. 99.99% of traders that me and you will watch trade also do that. There's varying degrees of how systematic and mechanical they are, but almost all of them are applying some discretion. Unless you can code your strategy into a bot or an EA, which you should do if you're 100% objective and mechanical, you're applying discretion. So I think that's the easiest way that I can describe it. Exactly what I'm looking for, I continue to describe like I am, like I was 2 minutes ago, as far as trade setting up, why I'm looking to trade that way, explaining to you how I'm looking at managing the trade, all of that stuff. So I hope that helps. Flip off market makers. That's funny. Good morning, guys. Good morning. What indicators are you using? So there's only 3 on my chart. They're all volume based. This is visible range volume profile, which I have a video on these if you guys want to go watch as well. Long form video. Visible range volume profile, VWAP, volume weighted average price, and volume, traditional volume down here. The markings on my chart, all these lines, are objective, and if you go back to the beginning of this video, you can watch me mark the chart out in real time this morning, the way that I just did. These are volume profile levels from prior day, volume profile levels from prior week, prior day's high and low, and overnight high and low. Very simple, no magic. They're some of the most common stuff that everybody and their mother watches. I find them helpful. That's my levels. And that's my entire chart. Outside of that, it's pretty raw. It's not a lot on here. I like it to be nice and black and white so I can really focus on this bad boy here in the middle. Price action, market structure. Order flow over on the side. This is bookmap. I'll throw the link in the chat. This is a paid order flow software. You would need to pay for bookmap. If you wanted this info, you would also need to pay for level 2 data, a data feed. This is liquidity. We're looking at an order book, right? Current order book, also known as the DOM, depth of market, the ladder, bunch of slang terms for this. Price levels on ES, quantity of orders at those price levels above and below price. Very simple. I use this in also a very simple, dumb guy type of way, the same way that I trade. Pattern recognition, more so than crazy market mechanics or some insane narrative as to market auction theory, which can be helpful if you want to learn about that. Bookmap, their own sites can be a great resource. I look at it and go, oh, wow, we have 1,000 lots on the book below price. Probably going to see a lot of volatility when we get there. Maybe those buyers are going to step in and, price is going to hold that level. Sue me. That's the simple way that I use it. Seems to help me out. You've watched it play out multiple times nicely this week, really nicely, where we've had some solid entries off of levels on bookmap. But again, 685 key level, right? Lines up with what I have on my chart. Oftentimes they do. It's a nice added, piece of information, but not always. Sometimes they're kind of in random spots. This could be dicey though, because again, we don't really drop off here. We got another 100 down at 75. So that could be a problem. But I'm looking long down around that 85 for trade number 1. I think we could really pull, if I'm going to speculate, like just pure speculation, which isn't always helpful because you start to form a bias. I think we could see a harsh sell-off or a painful just grind lower until middle of the day, and then see a big V-shaped recovery to take out the highs and continue higher. I think that would be a classic NYSE. Market's going to move higher, but before it does, it's going to try to fake everybody out, get everybody in short, or painfully take everybody out of longs before we actually move higher. Again, that's just pure speculation, but it is pattern recognition, right? It's experience. So I'm cautious of that. But from the 85s, I could see it bounce. Not just because of this level here, but again, I don't want to repeat myself a third time, but the reasons that we spoke about looking down here. So I'd be looking aggressively long. I could frame the trade for you right now. One contract, one mini, 10-point stop. I'd be looking to trail it into profit the way that you guys have seen me really forward testing this aggressive, larger position size, tighter stop, trailing into profit pretty quickly. I like it, especially on these more aggressive style trades, right? Can help you from really getting cooked if the market's not going to move in your favor quickly. But right at VWAP, we can start to find some buyers here. Let's see what we get. There is some liquidity right down below price, but nothing crazy. Nothing crazy so far, right? Stayed in this range, right back down to VWAP. A sell right off of this level, like I was saying, really early would have paid. Not something that I would have wanted to jump into. I would have liked it from up here back down to VWAP, but something like this would have paid so far nicely. That would be a nice 1-to-1 right back down to VWAP. Even if you waited for this selling pressure to start to come in, if you took it more aggressively up here, just off of this level that it tapped multiple times, could have captured a little bit more out of it. So let's see what the market's got for us. I appreciate you guys hopping on. What's up? What's up? Chop, chop. Yeah, man. Chop, chop. But while we're hanging out, and I'm going to plug this a handful of times today because it's the last day. Top 1 futures. While we're watching this sit right back at VWAP. Top 1 futures. I'm partnered. I'm affiliated. I can't stand to be unbiased, right? It's important for you to note. I stand to make money. But I'm trading these live here with you guys almost every damn day. 350K straight to fundeds. This deal ends 11:59 p.m. today. Last day of this deal. And I don't know that it's insider information, but I'm inclined to say that this is going to drop off. A lot of times they run these deals and then it's like the same deal the next month or the next day or whatever it is. I don't think that's going to be the case. Right now, it's 55% off and anytime payouts free. $359 gets you into 150K straight to funded account. Significantly cheaper on the 50Ks and the 25Ks if you don't have the big boy money. It's about to change. If you are interested in top 1, if you've been holding out, now's your chance, to load up on these bad boys. So I'm going to remind you guys a handful of times, code RDF to do it. The regular payout code or whatever the code is on their site. I'm grateful to have a code that gives you an even better deal. But the regular one's only going to do 50%. Code RDF for 55% off. Again, don't miss your shot. Same way before some changes happened. I really plugged it hard. I tried to give everybody the opportunity. So nobody says, I watched the chat after every one of these dropped. Oh, man, can I please have the deal? Can I please have the deal? Please, I just needed to, do something. Like, do your own research, make your own decisions, right? Got to find a firm that's right for you. But I think that's a pretty solid opportunity. But go ahead and compare and contrast harshly against the competition. You can make that decision. But links in the chat. I will pin it to the top. Code RDF gets you that deal. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Got a bunch of people on here. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome back. If you're new, my name's Zach. I trade here live on YouTube almost every damn day. I run a 100% free Discord community. Happy to have you in there. Link is in the description of this video if you want to hop in. More than happy to have you there. A little bit about me. I don't claim to be the best trader in the world. I don't claim to know it all, to have all the magic answers and some crazy payouts or be on the leaderboards. None of that stuff, man. I'm just happy to show you what real trading looks like for me. Run-ups, multiple payouts from top step accounts this year all the way through last week. A couple in 1 month, which was pretty sweet. And lost accounts, right? Mistakes made, tough trading days, fat finger, all of that stuff. So that's me, man. If you're looking for the magic answer, the magic strategy, somebody to copy or do anything with, I'm definitely not your guy. I'm sorry to disappoint you. If you want to hang out here and maybe win a free account, I do account giveaways on these lives as well. But I'm happy to show you what real trading looks like for me personally. That's what I do. And again, hop in the free Discord. Happy to talk with you guys, answer questions. Got like 2,000 people in there. It's sick, super active. I'm grateful for everybody that hops on and joins the community, shares their journey, good, bad, people taking payouts all over the place, which has been sick. And then struggles, right? The real part of trading that is oftentimes difficult to talk about, difficult to show. The dark days where you fat finger something and run your accounts into a DLL. Happy to share that. Not happy to share it, but happy to share it. And the good stuff, the triumphs, right? The consistency, the payouts, the starting to see some damn traction, pulling money out of the markets. Yeah, happy to show you what that looks like. If you've been with me here this week, pretty back and forth, man. Small red Monday, Tuesday, small green Wednesday, Thursday. Really like nothing. No big movement. I guess I could say I'm grateful to be around break even on a tough trading week where we have garbage like this going on, just crazy back and forth movement. But of course, I'd like to be, always just running up into a beautiful green week. But it's just not always the case, at least for me. I think, maybe you find that, but more often than not, not every single day, not every single week you're going to make money. Not every single month. And for some guys and a lot of guys, not every single multiple months, right? Large sample size, so we'll want to look in. Yeah, man, so I'm starting to lock in. Look at this bounce off of VWAP. We didn't get the test to the 85s. This is a beautiful bounce off of VWAP. Not the level that I wanted tested. I felt right down here would have been clean for an aggressive long. We got it off of VWAP, man. If you're a VWAP trader, that is paying. I know Austin and the ASFX boys are getting paid on this today for sure. Every time I watch a bounce off VWAP, I know I'm going to see a nice green day from Austin and Evan and his team, or I should, which is a solid one. Yeah, gonna have to watch this. Kind of choppy, man. Kind of choppy so far off the open, back and forth, right? Here's our 930 open. Not a whole lot out of this price action so far. So let's see where we start to go from here. Same thesis. I'm going to trade this counter to a pop to the upside or downside. That's my game plan. I'm looking at this chop to somewhat continue. We don't have a ton of direction. We have some levels of liquidity above and below price and some key levels that have yet to be tested. I'm going to trade off of those levels. Very simply. Not a ton of risk, right? Because it will be counter. But that's my initial game plan. So we'll hang out. We'll kind of see what we get here on this Friday. Bulls are strong. Almost touched my stop loss. Looks like that might have tagged you unless you started to buy on the way up. Long off orb low. Very nice. Very nice. Bulls are wiggling before the inevitable defeat. Ruben with the bear sign. Bulls won. What's up, brother? Nah. Still in my books. Still looking bearish. Ruben's still looking bearish. Perma bear over there. Being patient this morning. I've been having red days lately. I'm in a funk right now. Yeah, no, I feel you, man. I feel you. And I'm not putting up any beautiful numbers in this fresh set of accounts, so that happens. I would say, challenge yourself calling it a funk though, right? Waiting if it passes the 5708, definitely looking longs in that area. Strong for bears. Yeah. We start to crack these highs. I could see that as well. Strong off of VWAP here. Again, I'm still going to look to trade it counter, but it would have to be on a large push to the upside. Nice. Nathan going to take a TP on this one. Let's see it hit for Nathan. 57.10. I think that's very reasonable. But yeah, man, somebody said, in a funk, I would question whether or not it's a funk or just normal losses, right? If you're noticing your execution's off, the way that you're trading is really off, you're going on tilt maybe, or you're having fear to put trades on, or you continue trading fearlessly for some reason, yes. And that calls for some reassessment, kind of, question of what's going on. But oftentimes it's just normal losses. Oftentimes the market's really difficult to deal with for you personally, right? Because it's not always difficult for everybody. Somebody's probably making money when you're losing money, but oftentimes it's just normal losses. And, I was definitely quick in the past to just immediately throw everything out the window and question if I knew how to trade. And you wake up and you think you forgot what you're doing, right? Just on a couple of red days. So, take it easy on yourself, right? Review your journal, your trading. You should be journaling to some degree. If not, review your trades, throw executions up on the board. Just go back through the week, take a look at where you wanted to be trading from and then what you actually did. And start to ask yourself, why is that going on? Is it in fact, deep-rooted problem? I'm trying to push this or something, psychological problem, outside, forces weighing on you, or is the market just really not agreeing with you? You're putting your trades on, you're taking really good losses, but you're just taking a lot of them. If that's the case, keep doing what you're doing, because again, as dangerous as not adjusting, as dangerous as not ever reviewing and adapting is, every time you take a couple losses, changing everything up like crazy, or just totally using completely different tools or whatever it is, that's dangerous. That's dangerous as well. So you got to be able to identify, is it normal good losses? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And this is okay. What's my average win rate and R multiple, based on the last X amount of trades, and then kind of do that review. So that's my thought process for you there, brother. Take that off so it doesn't keep buzzing. Yeah, man, this looks like we might pop through some liquidity to the upside if we don't find sellers here. But I'm looking at the 15s, that overnight high level, prior day's point of control, to come up into that area right around here. I'd look for a short. I wouldn't mind it from up here. Really aggressive to come back down through this level of low volume, this area of low volume, right back down to these 705s, 700s. There's definitely a chance that if we start to crack to the upside here, we just run the highs and continue right through, all the way through the 25s, 26s. I know this is displaying differently on the 5-minute than it is the 15-minute, but yeah, this structure could be dicey to step in front of, because it's looking fairly bullish. Oh, ES. Let's see what you got for me today. See if you want to play nice. Thanks for that. Needed that pep talk. Yeah, man. Marcus, this stuff is tough, man. This stuff is tough, for sure, right? Keep your head in the game. Keep your head on straight. Always look to review. Always look to adapt, right? The market's very dynamic, but make sure you're doing it in large sample sizes. And I think most beginners, including myself, for a long period of time, even after a beginner, right? And you still face it. Sometimes I wake up, hella years into it, and I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, a lot of red days. Did I forget what I'm doing here? What is happening? But you got to challenge that, because the market's so random on the short term and very consistent on the long term that if you hyper focus on the short term, the last couple trades with this recency bias, you are in an inevitable, terrible, endless cycle of doom, right? Where you're just constantly over optimizing for the last trade. So a lot of people, and beginners especially, before they grab some consistency, they don't have confidence, right? They don't have that winner's mindset. And as soon as they take an L or 2 or 3, it's like everything out the window. Meanwhile, you're running a modest win rate. Maybe it's like 40%, 50%, 60% with a positive R multiple, and you're going to have 5, 6, 7 consecutive losses in the next 100 trades. That's completely normal, and you just stop trading at 3 and always start to do something different. You never give yourself a chance to, the odds to play out in your favor. So, think about that. Again, not saying that that's what's happening. You could be dealing with a whole bunch of different things that you have to work on. Outside, emotional pieces, a ton of different things. But I see that as a common one. I see that as a real common one, right? The strategy hopping, the shiny object syndrome, the trying to figure out how to never take losses and be green every day and every week. And that's just not the game here. It's very non-linear, very non-linear. I know we see some beautiful runs on social media. It can be very misleading, right? The straight green P&Ls for the month, it's few and far between, man. So I would encourage you not to compare yourself to that type of stuff, man. Trading is very non-linear, very non-linear. So you can get comfortable with that. You can make good money, but it is hard early on, especially early on, before you really grasp onto some confidence in your abilities, So that's my pep talk for today, guys. Build some confidence, build some discipline, build some confidence in your approach through back testing, through forward testing with low risk or on demo. And then once you come to the, the game time, like we are today, right? Maybe in a funded account for you or multiple, whatever it is, trust that system, trust your approach, trust your, whatever you're utilizing to trade, and continue to put trades on, win or loss, objectively, as objectively as you can, even if you use some discretion, for a long period of time, and then review. 5 trades are not going to tell you anything. It's just not. This next trade here with me, as tough as it is to say, I would love to say like, yeah, this next one, if I win, I'm a great trader. Absolutely not, man. You smash buy. It takes no skill. That's the Mark Douglas comment. It takes no skill at all, literally zero, to put on a string of winning trades. You could hit buy randomly and get lucky on 1-to-1 for the next 3, 4, 5 in a row. No problem. The same comes with losses, right? So you have to wrap your head around that paradox that we deal with. So it's difficult. Yeah, this looks like we want to break to the upside, man. Sellers couldn't take it lower. We came down to this area of high volume, tested it multiple times. We're putting higher lows and higher highs in off VWAP on the low time frame. This looks like we want to try it to the upside. 15 minutes looking clean to the upside. I don't know that I'm going to want to step in front of it up here, man. I didn't get my pullback down to value area low. This level that was tested multiple times back here. This looked clean. The bounce was from VWAP. That's okay. Just not my trade today based on structure, where everything's located. I don't like this as much short up here, but I am still likely going to try it. It's just not as beautiful as it was before. But it would be a pretty simple trade off of a level back towards an area of high volume. We didn't pull a crazy wick down where I'd say, no way, I'm not stepping in front of a huge run to the upside. It's a bounce off VWAP. I think we could at least pull back down to this area, even if we're going to continue higher, if we start to push higher. Conversely, I'm still going to take a bounce off of these lows if we start to sell off. So same setups. Still waiting on the same levels to be tested. Right here in the middle of all this, here's 930. Is this beautiful structure? Oh, kind of bullish, right? Kind of holding bullish so far, but nothing crazy, right? That's kind of choppy. Start to break to the upside. It's not going to be looking too bad for a long play from down here. If you said, hey, I think we're going to break out and run, now's your chance. Stop below session low. I don't like that trade. But this has been nothing beautiful unless you're the VWAP trader, which a lot of guys are. Congratulations on your buy off of VWAP. Very, very simple. Very simple. Opening up above VWAP, retest, place a buy. That pays. Very, very nice. So waiting on some key levels to be tested. Being patient this morning. Yeah, we talked about that. Any giveaways today? Maybe. If you guys know, we have random giveaways multiple times a week on the live sessions. You got to be here. 50K straight to funded accounts, some small cash giveaways, different stuff. Random days, random times. I drop a form. It's to support you guys that are on here almost every damn day with a really good chance to win, as opposed to doing it in Discord or Twitter or Instagram where you get thousands of responses. You get yesterday was a 1 in 37. I had more people on the live, but only like 36 or 37 people filled out the form, and someone got a 50K straight to funded. So we have random days, random times here on the live. But I'm not going to tell you guys yes or no. That's the fun of it. That's the fun of it for me. You got to be on here to have a chance to grab it. I drop a form, you fill it out, no purchase necessary. We pick a winner in a matter of minutes, about 10 minutes. That's the deal. Mark Douglas, the boom and bust cycles. Yeah, man. I blew up my 3, no giveaways. Oh, well, maybe. We don't know. We don't know, Luke. It's a good read, and I appreciate you still being here, but you never know. You never know. I blew up my but again, guys, no worries. Like if you're here just for the giveaway, you'll win sometimes. You don't want to hang out, you don't have to hang out. It's cool. I blew my 3 accounts, 150K. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. And I've seen your name on here, so that sucks. First off, I empathize with you. It's part of it, man. I've lost more accounts than I can count. So welcome to the party. But if you want some more positive feedback, what happened? Was it a tilt day where you just ripped through them? Was it a long string of losses that ended in them just being lost naturally? Was it you ran them up and then ran them back down into the ground? If you don't mind sharing, and then maybe I can give you some more actionable feedback on how I've prevented stuff like that for myself from continuing to happen. But I appreciate you sharing, man. It sucks when it happens. I think it's empowering to say, this sucks. Here's what happened. Blew my accounts, ending Friday, with a painful one. So I commend you on doing that. I do it, I show you guys all my losses and wins and everything, here live, right? I can't hide behind anything if I'm trading straight from the platform right here, right now. But yeah, it sucks, dude. So if you let me know what happened, happy to talk about it with you. More often than not, it's a tilt day. It's a tilt day that does it. We just struggle with that limiting downside. So no continuation on the upside, pulling all the way back down below these lows. Very choppy now, very choppy. Do we come through VWAP? Again, I'm still looking for a bounce around the 85s for reasons that we've talked about multiple times. Area of high volume tested multiple times. Prior day value area low. We got liquidity down there without much being below that. I don't know that we run down to that. We could just be kind of chilling out before we pop the upside here, but no continuation through these highs. Again, here is our New York session so far. Holding above VWAP, which would indicate some bullish strength, but we have almost a flat cumulative volume delta. Usually don't watch or talk too much about that. It's just not a main tool that I use, but every once in a while I'll glance at it. This is choppy, man. This is really choppy. Not a whole lot of action. We did not open up with a ton of strength to say we're going to run the highs today. Bulls back in town. Trump talked about how great everything is. He said go out and buy stocks and we're going to take off. We didn't do that yet. So, interesting. So, sitting patient. No trade. 45 minutes into the live, hanging out with you guys. I'm on the 1 minute time frame, right? Looking for nice scalpy style trades, but 10 point stops and stuff like that. But I don't just trade it randomly. I don't have anything in between here that's a beautiful setup for me. Still got to wait for my setup. So I get that critique often, right? You don't put enough trades on, or live trading, you got to trade. I usually go down a dark path when I do that, and it ends in just red. So I try not to do it, but I'm about as zoomed in as I can get with you guys here. Trading on the mini chart, pretty aggressive, what I would call pretty aggressive. But if we get chopped like this, just not a lot, dancing around VWAP, I sit patient. And if I can display the benefit of sitting patient instead of taking multiple L's, right? Waiting maybe for some opportunity that you can actually capitalize on, or try to, and then take a loss, right? Deploy capital when it actually makes sense. I'll do that. But appreciate you guys hanging out, man. We'll see what the market's got for us. We'll see We'll see maybe. We'll see maybe about a giveaway. I don't know. No, I don't want to string you guys along. I'm not gonna tell you one way or the other. And I haven't all week. This last week, I didn't say anything before we were doing them. I've talked about them, but somebody asked, what does value area low mean? Here's what we're looking at. I use, while we're waiting for this market that's not doing anything. If you guys have questions on my chart, feel free to ask away. I use a fixed range volume profile, right? So if you wanted to mark this exactly the same way on your chart, you'd come over here to left-hand side on TradingView or Project X. This is Project X with top 1 futures. Link in the chat if you want to check this out. I would use the fixed range volume profile, and you click and drag this bad boy to wherever you want. I'm using regular trading session hours, right? New York trading session, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. And that gives me a volume profile. Fixed range, meaning the range is from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. What I get out of that, sorry, let me just make sure this music doesn't cut off. What I get out of that are 3 levels. I get prior day, because this is all the prior day, volume point of control, the area of highest volume traded, value area high, and value area low. The percent of the majority of volume traded, the high and low of that, which is also shaded. This is standard inputs. So you could put a whole bunch of different inputs in here. Only thing I have changed up is the way that it displays. It's just more granular. I have like the row size increased, or the amount of rows increased to like 200 or something like that. You can actually look at it together. There you go. Row size 200. Value area volume is standard at 70. And I find those levels to be interesting to watch on the following day. The other levels I have in my chart, we did it this morning, but I'll go back through it. Prior day high and prior day low, coming straight off the daily candle. What's the high and the low of yesterday? I think those are important to watch, right? And then overnight high and low. That is the area that price is traded from the overnight session. Here's session changeover, right? You can see the time down on the bottom go from 1645 to 1800, right? Here's the open of the new trading day for futures. Here's the low that we put in overnight. Here's the high that we put in overnight. I find those to be interesting, right? It's a combination of Asia, London. I find those to be interesting levels to watch. I'd say those are probably the least important on my chart. I don't know that I need them. They usually coincide with something else. I also have prior week's volume profile. So this right here, exactly what I just talked about for the entire prior week, right? The value area high, value area low, and the point of control. Those come into play in the next week. They're typically not overlapping the way they have been this week. If we start to move, we kind of move away from them. So they can be good for like really large movements. Like if we return all the way back down or back up to a prior week point of control, that can be helpful. Yeah. And then outside of that, just the 15-minute zoomed out volume profile. And honestly, these days, man, I'm liking volume profile so much. If you said, hey, Zach, you have to get rid of everything on your chart, all of your levels, everything. You can just keep one thing. It would be probably VWAP and this volume profile. Key levels coming off of volume profile, right? And obviously, it's very similar, right? If I zoom out, I can display actually the exact amount of information that I'm getting with these fixed range volume profiles, with this visible range volume profile. So it's a useful tool. Selling off now that I'm yapping, right? Now that I'm distracted. Starting to sell off through the lows, through VWAP. I'm looking at this bad boy aggressively long from the 85s. Same thing that I've said since I hopped on the stream. I'm going to try it long from down here, boys and girls. That's going to be my game plan. I'm not going to put a limit down there. I'm not going to take it above. I think we can crack it kind of aggressively. So I will be jumping in front of it as we come down into it with probably a join bid or a market in. That's my game plan. I'll show you even more so why on bookmap down below, why I'm looking at the 85s. But I'm going to look at this for a bounce play. We could really sell off aggressively here. I'm counter to this initial move. But I'm still looking at this like buyers might want to take it higher. Yeah, can we do it right now? Please don't go back up. Oh, don't ruin it for me, ES. Don't ruin the fun for me. Here we go. If we pull all the way back up, retest something up here and then come down, it's invalidated, right? This would be on the first test of this level without a pullback, an impulsive move to the downside that I think buyers can step in and run the bounce. If we get the bounce ahead of time, I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna get it. So I'm looking long, guys. Again, this would be a 1 mini. Again, I can frame these pretty quickly. I can tell you exactly what I'm gonna do. This would be a 1 mini long, 10-point stop loss. No take profit, trailing aggressively back towards VWAP, back towards this area of high volume, the 5700s. It's not going to give it to me. It's not going to give it to me. All good, man. No FOMO. I'll wait for my level. That's it. Gotta wait patiently. Looking at this 85 to be tested. Quite a bit of liquidity down here. Again, we talked about value area low, that level. We watched some of this come into play really, really cleanly the earlier in the week. Does it have to happen today? No. I can absolutely get my face ripped off to the downside, stepping in front of selling pressure here. We do have some volume coming through VWAP right here, being traded. This is, these are aggressive plays, right? Fairly aggressive plays. So you run the risk of just getting your stop run for that more aggressive entry. I'm not going to wait for confirmation down here. Any kind of price action really pushing off. That would be option number 2 because I'm expecting a pretty aggressive bounce if we reach this level. And if we don't get that bounce, I'm dead wrong. Take the stop. Let's see what we get. Yeah, 80s could be a problem. I'd survive that, but not much farther. My stop's going to be right below this low. Right below this low. Here we go. Looks like we want to try it. I'm going to get ready to mark it in. Man, I gotta move bookmap, but I don't want to miss this. Yeah, I don't love to limit buy, but just in case we bounce right here, I gotta move bookmap, and I'm not gonna be able to hit buy. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I'm gonna throw a limit right there for a second, so I can adjust bookmap. Why right when I get ready, man? I love bookmap, but it does get kind of glitchy if I play with it too much. Why right when I'm ready, man? Do we start bugging out? Okay, there we go. There we go. I love bookmap. I'm partnered with bookmap. Bookmap's awesome. I don't know if it's me, my software, if I scroll in and out too much, if I run too much data on the chart. I'm sure it's a user error, but as I start to scroll out and just try to get a feel for more data, like the thing sometimes will get ready to crash, right? Yeah, we're looking good. 180 at 85. I think we trade through that pretty quickly. I'm going to look for the buy right there. Yeah, we could limit it in 85. All good. All good. I want to see that traded. I could even see like the 8450s. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. Just a little bit lower. 8450s. We got liquidity all the way down through that level. I could definitely see a crack through the 85s. Just grab a little bit better of a fill. Again, I'm not a big limit in type of guy, but in this instance, I think it could be pretty aggressive. Unless we bounce here, which is going to negate my trade. We almost did it right here. We come all the way back up through VWAP. I'm out on this. Man, we got it building at 80 now, 275. This could be dicey, guys. We could start to melt here. I'm going to try it. I'm going to stick to the level that I had all morning. I'm going to try it off the 85s. 84.5, actually. I got a limit order sitting for 1. I have risk settings set on this for a... there we go. 10-point stop. I'm going to get rid of that bad boy like I talked about. No take profit. I'm going to look to aggressively manage this. Not waiting for any kind of reaction here. Aggressively buying through the 80s quickly. Yeah, we may be straight down to the 75s. Through the 80s quickly. Again, I'm entering very aggressively, looking for a bounce around this value area low, this area of high volume. Before this wick to the downside, we crack this to the downside by my stop loss. I think we're continuing lower. But this is where I was looking to find some buyers. We are not doing that at all. Aggressive selling pressure. Like I talked about, the risk of entering really aggressively on a move like this is you will get your face ripped off to the downside. Sometimes I trust my levels. I like my levels. I let them play out in my favor more often than not, and I accept my losses on the chin. So let's see. I'm going to trust my stop on this one. Obviously, I'm not a big to play with the stop loss or close out for a loss. This is the level that I was looking at. Now that I zoom out, you guys can see it a little bit better. Bookmap, we came aggressively through the 85s. We danced around there for a while. A lot of sellers stepped in, overpowering the buyers. Looks like it's going to be a very fast stop for me here. Continuing to stack up below price. No bounce. We'll see right around this low. Last ditch. I'm only giving it a couple points. And this might be a very quick one. Very quick one. Immediate stop. Stepped in front of that one. Did not find any buyers off of this level. Let's see around the low. Again, I went right below it. We could definitely sweep some liquidity down here. I don't see a reason to run a stop way down here with that much selling pressure coming straight through. Now I would be waiting for some buying structure, some buyers to step back in on some volume. Take the L's on the chin. Liquidity all the way down to the 70s again. Yeah, that thing had a ton of volume to the downside. So, first trade for an L. No buyers found. Ripping through prior day value area low. Continuing to the downside on a lot of volume. Just no bounce there. No bounce in a continuation of the upside back towards VWAP. So interested to see what happens down here below this crazy news wick from this morning. It's not overnight low yet. I'm anticipating this to keep going. Otherwise, I would want to still be long from down here. But it might be just the gnarly sweep all the way down below this low. Take me out by a couple points. We obviously are hesitating down here after cracking this low just by 3 points. Yeah, 3.25 points. But liquidity all the way down to the 70s. Some stacking up above, but yeah, this could be pretty violent to the downside, man. Let's see. Let's see if it's the wild clean out and we didn't get the bounce down here. We're gonna get the bounce from down here. That's gonna be the question. But I don't I don't look at this long for right now. Obviously, sellers stepped in, brought that thing through VWAP aggressively lower. Took out most of the lows from the overnight session. Not quite this bad boy down here. But zooming out, even on the 1 minute, looking at yesterday's session, yeah, there's some volume down here. You know, this is a level that's been tested multiple times. Oof. Gnarly. Gnarly sell-off. Well, let's see where we go from here. No immediate trade set up after this one. I'm going to be waiting for either a push lower or some gnarly recovery. Not something that I'm going to look to jump directly back into, right? My level didn't hold. I don't have a level here. We're kind of just holding down below price. If we really started to push back up on this, I could see this as being the support found just down below this low and an aggressive amount of buying pressure stepping back in to take this thing higher. We might see it. But not looking to jump directly back into this one. But that's part of it, man. I'll show you guys wins. I'll show you guys losses. Quick L's even on that one. Part of the game. Part of the game. But looking back at the chat, we'll see where you guys are at. We talked about value area low. I start green 300, 500 green. Always want more money and have big red days. Yeah, boom and bust cycle, guys. Boom and bust cycle. Set a personal daily profit target. We were talking about the gentleman that lost his accounts. Personal daily profit target. I would definitely look at setting a hard lockout for yourself, right? Find a point where you're comfortable. If you find yourself struggling to wrap it up on a green day, and lock yourself out and let the risk settings do the work for you, right? Set them on the front end and just let them help you out. If it's $600, you know, $500 for a nice green day based on the risk that you're putting on, set that and you know, just let that do the work for you. But you got to cut it at some point. Just got short one. Nice, very nice. Morning, good morning. Click the short based on failure to take. Okay. Yeah, these were a little bit. Win and dive under. What's up? What's up? What's going on, guys? What's going on? Break even today. Took an L for a buy beginning the session, then took the sell. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, NYVWAP break. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. That VWAP is strong, man. That VWAP is strong. Yeah, watching this on bookmap, we got sellers piling, we got buyers piling in down below, right at the 677s. Really right down here, man. This could be a bounce area, man. This looks like we might want to do it. And I was just too aggressive up here down around the 85s to take this bad boy long. Yeah, I'm not gonna be the first buyer back in. This was my aggressive buy up here. I still think we could see this one play out, but that's a lot of selling pressure. Ripped through VWAP, ripped through this area of high volume. Found some buyers right below this low, right below these lows from pre-market. Bounced there, just barely took me out. Just barely took me out. But looks like we want to bounce towards the 85s, 86s. We got a lot on the book down below. If we start to fill that and then reject, I'll show you what I'm looking at here. We start to fill that and then start to reject, I could see another long. We got a lot on the book right here. 70s could be a problem all the way down here. We get through these, really clean that out. Maybe we see that aggressive bounce back up to come to check out these bad boys way up here to the upside. But I don't know. A lot of selling pressure. There we go, through the 77s. A lot of selling pressure. Let's start to see how we react down here. Who coughed tariff? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, easily, right? Easily could have been something along these lines where, you know, we saw somebody make a comment. Part of the game, man. Part of the game that we're playing right now. Watching the 70s down here. Do we break out and run lower here? A lot of volume traded on that last candle, almost the highest of the day right here. Third highest of the day. Breaking to the 70s. This is interesting, man. Ooh, right through the liquidity at the 70s. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't know if I want to keep trying this. I could see the bounce from down here, but this could get really dicey. Yeah, this is a lot of selling pressure. Obviously, sell was the play coming through VWAP. You had an opportunity for break and retest to the downside. Yeah, try not to carry a bias long on this bad boy. Now, a ton of selling pressure. You know, levels not holding to the bottom. Don't have a sell on this. Just not a good way to structure risk. Headed lower. I don't know where it would head. Like 650s, maybe, all the way to the downside. I could see that happening. But I'm going to wait for more structure on this one. Starting to get tempted around the 70s, even right down here, right around overnight low. But I'm really looking counter at this point. Really looking counter, and it could start to turn into a tough day fighting a move to the downside. If we look at this on the 15-minute, you know, that's pretty aggressive. A sweep below this low would be last-ditch effort for longs before we sell off all the way down to the 650s, which isn't a bad play at 65. I have no way to structure risk to the downside. I might try that. Yeah, I might have to take the ballsy move and try to buy this bad boy again. Again, very counter, right? Very counter to this initial movement. I'm not sold on this thing selling off through the 650s. I could see the bounce, like I saw the bounce earlier from way up higher. Again, I would run it with a pretty tight stop, down to like the 55s, and that would be enough. If we come all the way down through, I think we're hitting the 50s and below. We would be coming down way down below here. Maybe all the way to yesterday's low, but I don't know that we see that. This could be a dicey one, but I think I'm going to have to put this risk on, guys. I think I'm going to have to put this one on. A lot of orders at 65, not much down below, but I could be in on the same boat. All right, we're through that. Let's see, we start to get down here. I'm going to try this one off overnight low. This is going to be my second and only trade for this live. I don't have a way to get short on this. I think if we continue lower through these lows, we're headed all the way down to the 50s. I am getting long on some serious selling pressure. I'm trusting the overnight low level one more time for a bounce play to the upside. I think there's obviously a ton of opportunity. It's a fairly cheap trade as far as the potential for a move to the upside. I'd look to manage it pretty aggressively, but we could see the exact same thing that I saw in the first one, where we just come through these lows really, really aggressively, all the way down through the 50s. Ton of buy orders sitting on the books, so again, I'm trusting those as well for a level. Yeah, but not finding it, not getting follow through, man. Really not getting follow through. I'll show you again why I'm jumping into this one. Long one from 667, stop at 657. I'll take my losses as I have to take them, man, on the way to the wins. I'll show you why on bookmap this one looked very, very attractive after sweeping overnight low and just starting to hesitate, but we still have buyers down below, man. Still have buyers down below, so I don't know. Don't know that we bounce here, but I'm going to put my trades on as I see fit. That's the last one for a really aggressive counter buy here off the 1-minute chart, looking at the next level of structure after we ripped through value area low. Again, very bearish. I don't know where we continue to. I think if we do continue lower, we're headed down to the 50s. You know, if your target is short or you're holding short, I think past my stop down to the 50s, low 40s even. To the downside. If we can't find buyers here, if we can't find some buyers here, start to reject back up to those 85s. So that's my play. Take my trades with you guys, let them play out, take my losses if I have to. That's my game plan. Risky long, buyers aren't showing up. I agree. Risk it for the biscuit. Wait 30 minutes. We can, yeah, these are all good opinions, right, guys? I appreciate you guys sharing your thought process, right? Like the way that you would structure this. You know, I always respect it, and I think it's helpful for the chat and you guys to kind of take a look at the way different people would be seeing this. Thanks so much. Next time, put a hard lockout and set one up. Be able to go back and modify it for the day. We'll close. Yeah, man. Personal daily profit target. Personal daily profit target, man. Set the risk settings. If you're on Project X, it's a cheat code, man. You know, utilize that to your advantage. I think a lot of guys have an ego with it. A lot of guys don't, you know, if they struggle with tilt, right, they don't want to set a hard take profit or stop loss, right? They're going to be inclined maybe in a trade like this where I say, you know, 2 L's of $500, you know, I'm going to wrap it up. That's it. They're going to struggle. They're going to keep trading, or they're going to move this stop loss as it comes down lower because they really don't want to realize $1,000 of loss. You have a tool to prevent that. You know, you have a tool to help you out, and it's the risk setting. So utilize that to your advantage. There's no harm in utilizing that. I think it's a massive advantage for traders. Massive advantage. So yeah, that's the thought process. Use the tools you have available, man. Use them to your advantage. But long again, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this one plays nice with me. Again, aggressively counter, fully recognizing that. Following my approach on this 1 minute chart, trusting these levels, really trading the same way that I've been trading, coming off of these bookmap levels pretty aggressively. And it's been paying nicely, but you got to take the L's with it, guys. You know, that's part of it. It's not going to pay nicely every day. I'm going to have to realize back-to-back stops, like the way that you might see me take this one today, when I have opportunity to put a trade on. Nothing to the downside for me personally, albeit flowing with the trend, simple break and retest structure. If you're looking short, to continue, that could be your play. But we'll see. We got some buying pressure down here, not an enormous amount. Obviously, this is somewhat of a key level coming into play right around overnight low. After sweeping overnight low, will it be enough for a bounce? There we go. There we go to the upside. I'm going to start to manage this aggressively. First by going stop loss to break even. Don't want to allow this one to come all the way back down on me. I'm not going to trail so aggressively high into profit on this because we have some up here. We could see a break and retest of this level. I don't want to allow this to come all the way back down through my entry. So risk-free trade on the second one, right? Will it pay? We'll have to find out. I want to see this continue right here, right? I don't want to see this break and retest and then blast lower. We had sellers, again, immediately step in. I'm going to protect capital right there. There it is. A lot of selling pressure back down. Looks like a stop at break even. I wanted to see this continue right here, right now to the upside aggressively through this high and turn this into a nice trade. Buyers trying it, right? And this is just my trade management. On these trades, I am going to go stop loss to break even, right? Talk a lot about not doing that, especially on the 15-minute higher time frame stuff. I'm buying aggressively on a push to the downside off of a level. I want to see that bad boy bounce, especially if we, come into drawdown and then get past my entry. I want to see that continue. No take profit. I want to allow this bad boy to run to the upside and see if we can get some continuation. If not, if we're going to come back down through after a pullback, right? We come, 14 points off the low and then come, again, another 10 points down. I think we're likely coming back down through this low, right? I think that would be a nice breakout trade to the downside. But buyers trying it, right? Showing me some profit here. Let's see what we can do on this buy off of overnight low. I'm running no take profit right now. I want to watch how this starts to form up here. I really want to see a continuation through, up and above, through this level of higher volume, right? Through these lows. Important level to get through, all the way up to this level right here. And that could be a reasonable take profit, right? Where I got long the first time. I think that could be support flipped. Well, it wasn't support, but what would have been support flipped resistance. But we are going to need to come through these 75s. And we come back down on this. Could be just clean break and retest structure to the downside. I want to see 85s, 90s out of this bad boy. But I like the trade, right? Happy to put this one on. If I have to take the stop out for break even, cool. I don't know that I'll find another one, but I'll have more capital to deploy if I do find something. I'm not going to take quick profit on this, right? Like a lot of traders struggle with this as I'm just talking through kind of the trade. A lot of traders struggle with as soon as they get back to break even, they take themselves out of the good trade, right? As soon as they take the $500, like right here, they're closing out. Meanwhile, the trade's playing in your direction. We got liquidity building up above. Yeah, we got liquidity building up above. I like this. 85s coming into play. Showing me some nice above a 1-to-1 on this trade already, right? You know, had $500 worth of risk on, 10 points, already made it to 11 points of profit. But again, I'm going to leave this on to about the 85s, 90s. We got liquidity up there, back at those levels. I'll show you bookmap real quick, even though I'm in a live trade. Down to the 50s, problem area now that that's down on the book. But we come grab the upside. I could see the 85s, 90s really aggressively. We come back down through. I think we could quickly, again, that's why I'm aggressively, you know, managing risk on this one. I think we could quickly come down through the 50s, right, where my stop loss was, and really continue that move to the downside. But so far, I'd like to see a wick to the upside above the level of structure looking left. Break those highs towards the 85s, 90s. That's the game plan. Not doing it yet, though. Seller's going to try it again. Yeah, we could definitely see a retest down here, right? We could see a higher low get put in. We could see a double bottom type of deal. We could see a sweep below this low before a continuation to the upside. Not my game to leave it, to leave a stop loss way down below here on selling pressure like this, right? The buy itself inherently, you know, is pretty aggressive. So I also want to be, I don't know if it's the right way to say it, aggressive or conservative with risk management, right? Like, are you being aggressive if you manage risk tightly, or are you being conservative because you're taking risk off the line? But I guess aggressive with risk management. Giving it room to breathe up here. I'd let it dance around. Man, would have loved to see buyers rip it higher here towards the 85s. Don't know that we get it. Sellers stepping back in. We got some volume here. Damn. 62's got liquidity. 70's got liquidity. Yeah, this could be tough. But solid entry. I'm happy with that one, right? No complaints there. Something that made it past a 1-to-1, but this one has clear legs to the upside if it's going to be the reversal, right? That's the benefit of putting that aggressive trade on. Break to the upside, breaking structure, right? You can catch the quick small bounce out of this level, but for me, all the way back up to the 75s, the 85s, 90s is the play. So I think we got a good chance of doing that right now, unless we rip lower. I could see even buyers step back in here a second time, but I'm not going to let this one come back down on me. Not into a loss. Let's see it, man. Buyers want to try this thing. Buyers really want to try this thing. Just in case we got a very, very quick wick. If you guys know me, I don't like to run fixed take profits. I want to let the market move in my direction and then manage it. But just in case we got a rapid, crazy news wick, you know, like if you're not running a take profit on this and you're long from down here, you know, or you're long from up here and this thing wicks and then comes right back down, it can be really frustrating because you just don't have enough time to grab profit on something crazy. So in these markets, I don't think it's a bad idea to run like a really far out take profit. Like even if you don't run take profits and you're not planning to hold to it, excuse me, that could be helpful for you. Excuse me. Yeah, man. Buyers want to make a case for it. Gonna hang on to this one. Got an opportunity to go stop loss up here. You know, not really gonna help me that much. I think I'm gonna let this one breathe just a hair more. Stop loss at break even. We got to retest this level again. I'm out. Back to break even on the day with this trade in profit, unrealized. But I'm gonna let it run. A lot of liquidity up above, man. If we can hold this level and not come and take me out, I love this back up towards the 90s. I think this could be the very frustrating New York session that I was talking about. Take everybody out that's getting long up here as we're bouncing off of VWAP, smoke the longs, and then V-shaped recovery. You know, I think that could be the play. So this is getting a little dicey up here, The 80s, 81s have a lot of liquidity. We might have to pull back and reload on this one. But I'm gonna allow this to be a $500 losing day in the pursuit of it being a nice winning day. I'd like to make some progress, and $500 looking at this P&L and just the the trade being a loss. Not going to be the end of the world. I'd prefer to hold on to this one and go check out the 90s, man. 85s could be a problem. Yeah, 85s now could be a problem. We got a lot at 80 on bookmap. Again, I'm looking at bookmap over the side, liquidity, level 2 data. We got a lot at 80 we got to get through. 82s. Oh, man, I really want to hold this one. Yeah, I don't know if I could hold through 85, though. This could be a problem up here. A lot of sellers stepping in. Yeah, man, this doesn't look bad, but we got a lot of sell orders to get through up here. Yeah, I'm going to try to hang on to it, but I think I'm going to have to take this bad boy but below the 85s. We got a gap in between. We got a pretty big gap in between the 85s and the 90s with no liquidity. We are coming through all of it pretty aggressively. Ooh. Yeah, this is dicey up here, guys. I'm making a conscious decision to hold it right now. This is a tough one, though. This is a tough one. I got to stick to my guns, and I'd like to hold this thing, but I'm asking for a lot out of it. I'm going to take that one, guys. I'm going to take it right here, and I'll tell you why. Two things. A lot of liquidity. I still think we could go. I think really, really good opportunity to go, but I'm not going to be greedy. I'm not going to want this one to be a $1,000 winner to give me the profit that I want on the day, the same way that I'm not just going to close it break even when I had it up here. I'm going to manage it consistently the way that I manage my trades every day. And I could feel myself wanting to be the hero and catch the bottom and run, and it's just not it. So two things on bookmap. We are coming through sell orders to the upside, which I like. What I don't like is that a lot of sell orders up above. We start to reject as we get close, and we got orders getting pulled. It looks like they got moved down right here, but that's heavy sell orders above price, right? We know orders above price on the book are sell orders that could really act as some resistance, and that could send us right back down to that entry. So although I'd like to hold that one all the way back up to the upside, do I want to risk the entire trade for 5 more points of profit, right? Instead of taking it right up here or wherever I just took it around the 80s? No, right? I'm not going to be that greedy. This was initial target, right? Coming through all of these levels of liquidity to the upside. We start to hesitate and pull back like this. I don't want to be long. So, again, let's just talk about that trade. Appreciate you guys. Saw a couple guys in the chat, right? Listen, and I'll come back to you guys. Risky trade, just wait. Don't take the long down here. I'm not saying like I'm a smart guy, right? I know everything. It's going to play out that way every time. But I stick to my guns. I stick to my system, even if it's a tough one, right? And that's a hard one to take for me personally. I got cooked on that first one, right? I got to jump in aggressively again off of a level of structure. Decent management because we're coming all the way back down. I still think we can go. This thing is... Buyer stepped in down here. This doesn't look like that's continuing. This looks like break a structure and we want to go. But I'm happy with that close. Back to tiny profit. Unfortunately, here we go again with small green. I'll wait for a follow-up, but I'll get to manage each trade individually. But again, thought process here, guys, right? I tried the first long. We'll just do the quick review because I think this is where the value is, right? Nobody should be here to copy trade or whatever, but just to explain what I do and why it might work or not work. First long was here, right? I'm anticipating a pretty choppy back and forth day. I expected a bounce back up towards VWAP, liquidity above. We had a solid level, temporary volume point of control showing right here. This is value area low. Obviously an area that was tested multiple times as support and resistance. And we had our really only large stack of liquidity sitting on bookmap right here. I'm taking that bad boy long. 10-point stop, try to get a bounce back to VWAP. That failed very quickly, right? I wait patiently. What's the next level I have in my chart? Big surprise, overnight low. Down below this wick was tempting. We started to get a little bit of a bounce, but didn't take it there. Down below this wick to find some liquidity, and a lot of orders right down here at the 665s on bookmap. That one played out really nicely. Is it still aggressive? Absolutely. And on another day, this thing just rips to the downside and I take 2 back-to-back L's. But in the pursuit of putting on my trades somewhat consistently, the way that you see me do it, which is, I will admit, more aggressive, more zoomed in on the 1 minute than what I was doing on the 15-minute, tighter trade management with going stop loss to break even, trailing into profit. That's the consistency I'm going to bring here. So again, that one worked out okay, decent. I survived by the skin of my nose. I don't know if it was that wick or that wick, with a stop loss to break even or 2 ticks in profit. Wanted to see this continue, right? The thesis is a bounce. We're going to see buyers step in and bounce. So I'm not going to allow it to continue to break and retest to the downside, right? If we keep doing that, well, I think we're going lower. If we come back down through my entry, I think we're headed down here. And this is a beautiful sell with a stop loss above here. So aggressive trade management. Watching this thing come up back towards levels of liquidity on bookmap. No take profit, right? No fixed take profit, although I threw one in there towards the end in case we got a crazy wick. Reason for close, not on a fixed level, but watching it come into levels on bookmap, more of them stack up, start to come off the book that were up higher that I'm using as targets and come down lower. That's an indication that we may start to aggressively sell off. What did we do from right up here? Started to sell off. This still looks good. This still looks like we want to break to the upside. But if I'm only going to target maybe 5 points higher from this high, not even 3.5 or 4.5, I'm going to manage it discretionarily, take my profit, have it be a nice over a 1-to-1 winning trade. Is it where I want to be on the day? No. I want to be $1,000 in profit, $1,500 in profit. But you take your trades, you take what the market has for you. For me, it's been a lot of this, man. Unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of small back and forth break even or decent, just break even type stuff. We'll see what we get on another one. I'm going to wait to see just to see what reacts up here, how this reacts. I think we're headed higher. And again, like I called out this morning, I'm not going to trade off of just crazy higher time frame speculation. I could see this being the very frustrating session to run the highs after coming all the way back down before lows, through lows first. I could see that. It's not a trade that I'm going to put on, right? The way that I'm aggressively trading off of the 1 minute with a 10-point stop. If I wanted to do that, the trade would look more like this. I would want to allow it to dance all the way back down here because my thesis is we're going to run all the way back up to the highs, right? So if I'm going to try to capture that, why am I running a tiny stop loss down here? I'd have to take that same trade 47 times for it to finally play out. That's my thought process there. Questions, concerns, feel free to ask away in the chat, man. As we come back up through these highs, I think we're going back to VWAP and above. I really do. But we'll see. Dicey here, right? If we're going to pull back up and continue lower, we got to get through this level here. But this will be interesting to see what happens. Let's see. Questions. Ivy low is key for now. If we close back, goes for VWAP more likely. Trump wick, what execution. Wow, yeah, no, appreciate you. Nice job, nice trade. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you. I'm out. Fresh hour to aggressive at the open. Not enough patience. I feel you, man. Got to stay patient off the open. Small green greater than small red. Absolutely. Right? There is a hierarchy, right? And Austin likes to talk about this. Big green, right? Up at the top. Small green and break even right down here, right? Still really good. Small red, no problem. Still really happy with small red, whatever that means for you within your risk management. Huge blow up red tilt day, no good. That's the only one that we need to avoid. We can survive plenty of small red days, plenty of small green days, and if we have those nice green days, we're making money. But that's the deal. You have the exact same P&L to the penny right now. Choppy day. Yeah, man, I feel it. 69.40. I may start the weekend early. It's been a great week. Yeah. Again, guys, I'm just so you guys know what I got going on. If you're interested, I'm going down to Miami, meet up with a whole bunch of the boys that you saw last week at Tampa. I got a bunch of podcasts and roundtables to do tomorrow with Austin. Going to be a sweet podcast coming up. But a lot of the big names that you see that I'm working with, excited to be working with these guys. It's awesome. Awesome to be partnered up with big traders. But I got a couple things to do before I run down there, meet them, and that's going to be my afternoon. So I'm going to watch this. Man, I don't know if I'll get another one. 11 o'clock? 11 o'clock, man. I think we pop back to VWAP. I think we go back to the 700s. That's gun to my head. I'm long, which is why I was long both times today and turned out green. I think we run back to the 700s. Not enough to hold this through all this liquidity down here, but buyers are trying to take this higher. Maybe one more clean out to the downside before we run it. But if we were going to continue this sell-off, here it is. You know, we should see another leg to the downside, not structure now forming to the upside, right? Higher highs, higher lows getting put on the 1 minute. So this, I don't see this long, but we'll see. We'll see. On an immediate trade, you know, you could take a long play. Excuse me, I don't see the short is what I meant to say. You could take a long play from up here. I'd like another pullback down maybe, and then continuation to try this bad boy again. But I'm not going to find anything right here, right now. That's my thought process. Yeah, for me, once I manage my take profit lower, I start to seriously consider taking the trade off. It seems to be working well for me lately. Yeah. Yep. Had 10 months green last couple months chop. Negative 55 points first and break. Well, first off, if you had 10 months green, Ryan, congratulations, dude. That's fantastic. Markets have been different part of the game. Yeah, markets have been tough, man. Again, I don't like to generalize it because I acknowledge that when this is a zero-sum game. When I'm making money, someone's losing money. When I'm losing money, someone's making money, right? But in general, I would argue that in general, this is kind of tough to deal with. That's kind of tough to deal with, right? That's like a nice size news event and completely unexpected comment about tariffs in China, and we get a crazy candle that prints, right? Now, maybe you're on the right side of that about half the time, but oftentimes you're on the right side of it. It takes you out and then moves in your direction. So not that this is the only reason the markets have been tough, but this is a demonstration right here. This is tough. This is tough. So if you're making money in these markets, or you're breaking even, or you're making small progress, you know, or you're controlling your downside, I think you're doing great. I really do. These are not slow trending, simple ranging markets, man. They're just not. I've been staring at these charts for a while, and for me personally, they're tough. They're pretty tough. I will absolutely agree with that. Again, I think other guys will say, I don't like to overgeneralize, other guys will say, yeah, these are awesome. I'm cleaning up, crazy volatility. You know, I do my thing. But yeah, tough, man. Structure your risk, structure your trades, limit your downside. That's the deal. Guys, I'm gonna plug this while I'm remembering. This ends today. Top 1 futures. Remember, I'm biased. I cannot stand to be unbiased if I am making money. Code RDF gets you 55% off. This ends in like 12 hours. 55% off. Code RDF. Anytime payouts free. The 150K account is like $359. I challenge you. Hit the link. Go to the site. Put them up against your preferred prop firm. Take a look at the rule set. Take a look at everything. The support, the path to live, the payout structure, all of the rules. Make a decision for yourself on this one. But I think it's an extremely competitive offer, which is why I'm partnered with them, and you hear me yapping about it more than I yap about anything else. Just my 2 cents. I think it's an insane opportunity for traders that have any belief that they can make money in these markets. I think it's an insane opportunity, but I would encourage you to make the decision for yourself. There we go. Back up to the fucking 85s, man. I think we're going to see it run the 90s. Back to VWAP. Good read. You know, me taking it off here, I'm happy with this one. I got to apply some consistency. Like I said, I wanted to hold this one, but I could feel myself, you know, wanting to be the hang on to the moon. And at that point, I really wouldn't be happy if I had, you know, 10, 12 points in profit, showing me, you know, $600, $700 in profit on a $500 risk on the way up. Clear reasons to close and not close, hold all the way back to break even. So I'm more than happy to watch this thing continue in my direction, look at my, you know, entry and say, great read, man. Great read. And what I'll do is continue what I always do. Go back and review, right? Am I finding that more often than not, trades continue to run in my direction? Hang on to those bad boys. Am I finding that more often than not, they come back on me, stop me at break even, move to stop loss, tighten up, take your profit, right? Simple, very, very simple. And as dumb guy simple as that is, that's how I approach the market. And it's how I see some of the best traders approach the market. Do a little bit more of what's working when you review, do a little bit less of what's not working. Small adjustments over large sample sizes. Simple as that. Lately has been a debate for my 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 setup. Yeah, I like 1-to-1, man. I like modest risk to reward. Stop loss hits and explosive candle have been, yeah, man. Tough. Marcus says that one. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man. Passed the 50K challenge back in January. Built a cushion of 2,000 and everything has faded slowly. I still have the account, but it's frustrating. I feel that one. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Again, I'd continue to review, but again, we are dealing with tough markets. Really, really tough markets. So I'm sorry to hear it. It's part of the natural progression. Sometimes we are really running it up, but what I would say is, take it slow, continue to do what you're doing. Obviously, you're managing risk well. Keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. Interested in taking the 1-to-1 and if lost, second will be a 2-to-1. We'll see. Nice. Viewing the journal on my chart. Have you taken a payout from top 1? No, I have not. I've not taken a payout from top 1 yet. Working my way downtown, walking past, headed towards that payout. This giveaway done for this week. Yes, I'll let you guys go. We'll wrap it up here. I appreciate you guys just answering some questions in the chat. No more giveaways for the week. I'm going to wrap it up right here. I don't find myself taking another trade on this structure. Looks like we're headed back up towards VWAP, back up towards the 90s, maybe the 700s. We'll have to see. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Throw that up as I'm heading out. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. If you trade, you're probably going to lose all the money that you stand to trade with. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like this one right here, Top 1 Futures code RDF. Last reminder, check this out, guys. It's ending in 12 hours. Don't cry if you miss out. 55% off, anytime payouts. It's definitely going to change after this. Links in the chat. Feel free to check it out if you'd like. More than happy to support you guys with the giveaways. Back at it again next week. Giveaways. We got multiple. Straight to funded accounts. You got to be on here. I appreciate you tuning in. Grab the form when it drops. And yeah, man. Outside of that, I'll see you guys in Discord. Links down below. Check it out if you want to hop in the free Discord. More than happy to have you there. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for being here. Have a great weekend. Catch you guys soon.